Skinny Hardaway Southern T back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. This your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Talk this good boxing, MMA, sports, parlays, predictions every single day and not just today. Today, we're here with the fight breakdown between Opetaia and Brandon Glanton. I do have, vested interest in this, right? I am a fan of, I know we all probably fans of Jay Opetaia, right? His fight style, he gets the knockouts, whatnot. Got a huge push right over there in Australia, right? But I'm a huge fan of Brandon Glanton. I'm an even bigger fan of I respect Jay Apatow's game, right? But as far as like fandom, I'm an even bigger fan of Brandon Glenn because I know Brandon Glenn's backstory, being from the Atlanta, Georgia area, right? So I'm happy to see him, get these opportunities. It's gonna be a Zuffa boxing cruiserweight title fight as well, right? So it's gonna be a Zuffa boxing cruiserweight title fight. You know what I mean, right? So I'm happy for my boy Brandon Glenn, getting these opportunities, especially against a name like Brandon Glenn. Um, he had a win in his last fight, right? He's is Brandon Glenn is 21-3 with 18 KOs, right? He had a loss 2 fights ago, had a win in his last fight. He lost to Chris Bellum Smith. There was also a cruiserweight title fight, right? Right, in which he dropped versus Chris Bellum Smith. Again, like I said, he's from Atlanta, Georgia. 6 foot tall with a 79-inch reach, right? Keep that in mind. We got Jay Opetaia, of course, right? Jay Opetaia is 29-0 with 23 KOs, right? So Brandon Glenn has 24 fights with 18 KOs. Opetaia has 29 fights with 23 KOs, right? What that tells me is that these guys like to knock people out. You know what I mean? Uh, Jay Opetaia is 6'2". He's taller than Brandon Glenn, right? But his arm reach is only 76 inches compared to Brandon Glanton's 79, right? So Opetaia will be giving up an arm reach advantage in this fight. He's 2 inches taller, but his arms are 3 inches shorter than Brandon Glenn, right? So maybe, that's a tad bit that you want to put in your back pocket. You know what I mean? So Brandon Glenn fight style, he's he can box, right? I will call him a boxer puncher. He's a guy. He's in there to knock you out, right? But I guess I will call him a boxer puncher. He possesses boxing skills. Opetaia is a bit of the same, right? Boxer puncher. Now these guys are cruiserweight. They're bigger guys. So when I say boxer puncher, I'm not talking like these guys have Floyd Mayweather level type skills and movement and stuff like that, right? But all things considering, given their weight class, these guys are two pretty fluid movers and they have power and they have knockouts as well, right? You know what I mean? So I will put them more so in that boxer puncher category than being a pure boxer because of the power and them being, just a puncher brawler because they're not really brawlers. They do have, you know, somewhat of they have somewhat of a recipe for how they like to do things. Neither of these guys are wild fighters. With that being said, they're also what's good, Brian. Shout out my guy, Brian. Appreciate you sliding through. With that being said, right, they're also not against a good brawl or a good scrap. Both these guys can be enticed into a good brawl and good scrap, which is why I think this is going to be a nice fight. Both these guys are naturally come forward fighters. Both these guys want the knockout. Like I told you, Brandon Glenn, 21 wins, 18 KOs. Apatalia, 29 wins, 23 KOs, right? So these are guys who get knockouts. Sometimes they happen early, sometimes they happen late. I do rate both these guys' toughness and chin pretty high. I seen that Opetaia in the ring with what's his name? Is Breedis. With Breedis' first name is slipping me right, but I seen him in the ring with Breedis. I rate Breedis pretty. He said, "Yo man, go ahead and getting cooked." We finna talk about it. We finna talk about the boxing wins. Right? I rate Breedis pretty high, right? So I seen Breedis, literally break Jay Opetaia's jaw, right? So I rate him pretty tough. Brandon Gladden, see him being many of wars and fights where I thought he very well would get stopped, right? And they ended up, going the distance, or fights where he was losing, getting beat up, and he ended up coming back and knocking guys out, right? So I do rate these guys high. Also, but with that being said, I do think a knockout is going to happen in this fight, right? So I don't think this fight is going the distance. I'm gonna be right up front with y'all and tell y'all that. I don't happen to think this fight is going the distance, right? So that's one, play or scenario or bet, however you looking at it, right? My play in this is I'm expecting, right, both these guys to come out, and it's going to be who's going to take control of the center of the ring. When you got two big guys like this, that's always interesting because these guys don't have, a lot of retreat in them. Both these guys are punchers, right? It's going to be interesting to see. I would think, right, Jay Opetaia would be the quicker fighter, right? The more speed fighter, right? But if I'm talking power for power, I'm not really sure if he will be all that much stronger than Brandon Glenn. I'm thinking power for power, punch for punch. Maybe Brandon Glenn hits harder, right? Um, don't don't necessarily don't necessarily think that either of these guys really want to stand there, right? But like I said earlier, they can be enticed into a fight. But I'm expecting Jay Apatow to be a little more fleet of foot, and I'm expecting Brandon Glenn to be, slightly stronger. Uh, you know what I mean? This fight is interesting. Right now, going into this, I actually thought because Opetaia was taller, he will have the longer reach. Don't necessarily have the longer reach, right? Deep down, man, I really, really believe that a stoppage is upon us. I took a look, at the odds and the numbers for this fight, right? And the books, surprisingly, they got this pretty close, depending on both ways, right? Whether it's a knockout or a decision, right? They are actually leaning more decision than I actually thought. So I went to look at, the knockout props, right? Because I told you I do think a knockout is coming. I got Jay Opetaia to win this fight, right? And I got Jay Opetaia to win this fight by knockout. Now, my original mindset was I'm finna have to go in here and I'm finna have to check out and see what Jay Apatoya, maybe 7 through 12 is, or maybe 4 through 8, something like that. But Jay Apatoya's knockout prop is -165, right? And I think all things considered, especially I gave out last week, I gave out Navarrete to win the fight. And then later I was like, you know what, man, Nunez might win the fight. And then once I saw Navarrete come out to the ring, I was like, you know what, y'all, Navarrete look a lot bigger than he was yesterday, right? So Navarrete probably gonna win this fight, right? But I ended up betting the fight not to go the distance, right? And I had a Navarrete, money line that I put in Monday, right? So we ended up coming through last week on, let's just say you took the fight, let's say you took the knockdown prop, because that's the bet I gave out. We missed that one. But Navarrete won and the fight didn't go the distance. So we had a pretty good, week last week. I was able to hit. There you go. There you go, boxing ways. You see what I'm saying? So we had a pretty good week last week. This week, I'm looking at Opetaya's KO at -165. That's something that you probably want to go ahead and put in now, right? If you go play something or you go put in like a parlay or something, you might want to go ahead and put that in because that shit is not going to be 165 very long, right? Believe me, you, when I say that is not going to be -165 very long. Trust me, right? So if you're going to play up attack KO, it's something that you probably want to go and get in now. When I end this stream, I'm about to put in my Jay Opetaia knockout bet, right? But I do get Jay Opetaia for the knockout. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Brandon Gladden wins, but it's going to be an uphill battle for Brandon Gladden, right? Brandon Gladden does have 3-inch arm reach over Jay Opetaia, right? So if you're somebody who's maybe thinking Brandon Gladden, Maria, mm, 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 Maria. Mm, 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 but yeah, if Brandon Gladden is somebody you thinking about playing, uh, uh, right, he's plus money. I won't be mad at you, and he got a 3-inch arm reach, right? I'm not gonna play Brandon Gladden. That's my guy, right? I hope I'm wrong about my prediction, but I think Apatow knocks out Brandon Gladden, not because Brandon Gladden is not a good fighter, because I do think Brandon Gladden is a good fighter. You saw my guy boxing Wiz come here and say your boy Brandon Gladden going to sleep. You know what I mean? I fuck with Brandon Gladden, man. Shout out that ATL Georgia boy. I'm happy that he with Zuffa. I go as far as to say this, right? Win, lose, or draw this Sunday against Jay Opetaia. when I bet you that none of them other cruiserweights are able to beat Brandon Glanton, even if he loses to John Opetaia, right? So if you're one of them people who think dude trash, keep watching him past this Opetaia fight. I bet you those other guys don't beat him like that, right? I'm about to drop my Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2 predictions. So make sure y'all come on back for the UFC stream. And then if y'all want to, run a live stream, talk some boxing, talk shit, smoke blunt, play some, tunes. I'll, come back a little later. Y'all just let me know, on the next stream or whatnot, right? But Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira on the way. We got Jay Opetaia KO at -165. I think those pretty good odds. Can't beat that with a stick. You feel me? Lick. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through. It's getting the hard away. Southern T. This ain't the past. What's good, my guy? ESA. Yeah. Australia. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, yeah, man. Jay Opetaia for the win, y'all. -165. Appreciate you sliding through this joint. What's your name, Brody? 1988. 1988. Do me a favor, 1988. Jay Opetaia. J.O., do me a favor, man. Hit that subscription button. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me either. Hit that subscription button for your boy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, right? Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Y'all kind of dropping in, you know what I mean? Whatnot. Finna get on this UFC video, man. Y'all make sure y'all swing it on back around. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I'm finna be live right after this. Peace. I guess y'all know I'm kind of where I like round numbers. I'm gonna let it go to 12 minutes. Now, matter of fact, I'm gonna do 11:40 something. I'm gonna do 11:40 something. There we go. 43. Well, I'll try to